happy to yield 2 minutes to the gentlelady from California, Ms. Lee.
The gentlelady from California is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, and Mr. Speaker, I want to thank our ranking member for yielding and for her leadership and for this very important debate. This morning, let me just say, this debate, I believe, should have taken place at least 2 weeks prior to the war in Libya. The War Powers Act specifically forbids armed forces from engaging militarily in foreign lands for more than 60 days without congressional authorization of the use of military force or a declaration of war. And we should really make no mistake about it. We are at war in Libya today. And we've been actively fighting in the Gaddafi regime in Libya since March 19th, which is 97 days ago. No one in this House now would defend the deplorable actions of Colonel Gaddafi and the decades he has spent repressing the Libyan people. But no one should fail to recognize that the actions we have taken in Libya since March 19th amount to a war. Missile strikes, naval attacks, bombing of strategic military targets, all of these actions would be a declaration of war if a foreign country launched such attacks on any country, including our own soil. We have committed $1 billion and thousands of servicemen and women to a new front. And regardless of one's position on our involvement in Libya, one point is crystal clear. This debate should have happened before we launched a war in Libya. Now, on March 30th of this year, I joined with Representatives Woolsey, Honda, and Grijalva and Waters, and we sent a letter to Speaker Boehner urging him to bring forth an authorization of the use of military force in Libya and stressing the need for a robust debate and vote in line with our congressional prerogative and indeed obligation. Unfortunately, may I have another 2 minutes?
I would be pleased to yield another 2 minutes to the
The gentlelady
gentlelady.
is recognized for an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you. Unfortunately, the Speaker did not grant our request, and we find ourselves here today debating this important constitutional issue well over the 90 days after hostilities began. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm somewhat skeptical about the political motives behind the floor actions that are scheduled today, because we really need to recognize, understand that this is serious business and it should not be politicized. This is not about this president or any president. This is not about politics or isolationism. This is about the War Powers Act and the Constitution. It's about standing up for this body and our important role in one of the most solemn and one of the most important decisions that we make as lawmakers, and that's the decision to declare war. Now, unfortunately, this resolution from my colleague, Mr. Rooney, before us today has many exemptions that are very broad and, of course, falls short of ending this war. I have some concerns that I would like to discuss later in terms of some of the limitations and exemptions, in terms of making sure that this does not broaden the war with these exemptions. And I hope that today, though, we stand up for our Constitution. We must oppose, I believe, the resolution that gives carte blanche authorization to continue the war in Libya after the fact. And I want to thank, again, our ranking member for allowing for this debate, and the chairman of the Rules Committee, and Mr. Kucinich and Mr. Romer, and everyone for at least encouraging this debate to move forward. I guess we could say today, better late than never, but I certainly wish we had adhered to our constitutional responsibility before the military engagement began.
Gentlelady's time